Welcome back. Back again. Here, wait. Shady's back. Tell a friend. I'm back. Here, wait. I need to hit up the TikTok. Live now. I'm back once again. I need a video. So I'm planning on reacting to something scary for a video. So I like the fright. I like the fright. Guns, big ass guns. I'm like guns with what you need today. Okay. Let's just get into it already. How about some chilling scares? Wait. Chilling scares. I don't want to do ones that are like stream. So wait, I have some right here. Here, wait. Because I don't want to show the death. Right. I could do streamers who capture their final moments, 4 most disturbing Reddit accounts, serial killers that never existed. Low-key, I'm reacting to that. I don't care.
The Phantom of Heilbronn.
This is the one. Alright, let me get in. Serial killers that never existed by Chilling Scares. Let's watch the video.
The Phantom of Heilbronn. On April 25, 2007, a 25-year-old German police officer named Michel was on patrol with a 22-year-old named Martin in Heilbronn, Germany. The day had been pretty uneventful, so with nothing else going on, the two decided to post up in the corner of a nearby park's parking lot. What neither of them knew, however, was that they had just become targets, because just minutes later, an armed individual approached their car from the back and opened fire, shooting both officers in the head. A taxi driver eventually noticed the aftermath of this crime and reported it to the...
How do you not notice that as, a bystander? How do you not notice, 1,000 gunshots and 2 cops getting killed, instantly, bro?
Authorities almost immediately. Surprisingly...
How do you not hear that?
When first responders arrived, they found both officers lying outside the car. Later investigation revealed that their service weapons and handcuffs were missing, suggesting the assailant must have stolen them from the car, which would also explain why the two were outside. Miraculously, this...
Don't those have tracker? I don't know where I heard this. I heard the police equipment has trackers. I don't know if that's true, but I heard it. I heard it somewhere. Oh shit, it's really quiet. I heard that somewhere. I'm not sure if that's true though.
Despite being shot in the head, Officer Martin managed to survive the encounter after numerous surgeries and being in a coma for 4 weeks. Unfortunately, the incident resulted in total amnesia regarding the attack, leaving the investigators with no direct leads to follow.
Dude, that's such bad luck, bro. He survived and he didn't remember it. Oh my god.
But just as they were about to lose hope, investigators discovered a DNA sample from the perpetrator on the patrol car's dashboard. However, what should have been the key to solving the case led to a massive rabbit hole instead. One that links this tragic incident to dozens of crimes dating back more than a decade. You see, while analyzing this DNA sample, the forensics team discovered that it matched perfectly with samples collected from various prior crimes. The first of which happened all the way back in May of 1993 when a 60...
They still don't know who this guy is? That's so crazy. No way they have is... Don't they have if you... What is it? If you're a multiple offender, they can track your DNA because they... What's it called? They already have your DNA in the database, but if they never caught this guy, they don't have his DNA. They just have it, but they don't have anybody for it.
A 2-year-old woman was strangled to death with a steel wire in her home in Germany. The second crime linked to the same perpetrator happened in March of 2001 when a 61-year-old met his end in a similar manner also in Germany. Apart from their age, another similarity between the two cases was that large sums of money were missing from both homes. Then, in October of the same year, a child accidentally stepped on a syringe used in combination with drugs while playing in a park. The DNA...
No way there's no, like, any sort of surveillance to catch this perpetrator, bro. That's so insane. Also, a syringe in the park is crazy.
Sample from this syringe also matched the two deadly incidents from earlier. And with further analysis...
What happened to that kid?
Of this sample, the investigators were able to build a rudimentary profile of the perpetrator, according to which the criminal was an Eastern European...
That is a terrifying photo. Holy shit.
...woman who...
Dude, the other video we watched on this, it was definitely more scary because this is definitely new tech. But bro, that shit is terrifying.
...robbed the elderly to fuel her addiction. This connection became more concrete as investigators analyzed samples from hundreds of other unsolved crimes since 2001 and found
Is that the person?
Matches from over 20 burglaries and thefts of cars and motorbikes. Some of these crimes even extended beyond Germany.
And she just does it for fun. Bro, that's like another level of like... That's another level of like crime where you're just doing it to like feel shit.
Like when a group of Vietnamese precious gemstone traders were attacked by a gang of robbers in France in 2004, as well as a burglary at an optometrist store in Upper Austria in March 2007. However, what made all of these cases...
Dude, optometrist is low-key the move, bro. Glasses are so expensive, they're like $200, bro. If you get like a bunch of glasses, you could sell that for like 10K. Easy, bro. Smart idea. It'd probably be better to do like jewelry though.
Strange was that
it's probably not worth it for 10K if you're robbing in place.
Aside from the DNA sample, the perpetrator left no clues at the scene. She wasn't caught on any CCTV cameras and there weren't any witnesses either, earning her the nickname of the woman without a face.
They didn't catch her at all. That's so crazy.
4 men were even arrested for the robbery in France, but none of them gave any description of this woman either. So, despite linking all these incidents, the investigators were no closer to solving the case of Officer Michel. Unfortunately, the attack on Officers Michel and Martin was only the prelude to even worse crimes. Something that became apparent in January 2008 when police discovered the remains of 3 men floating in a local body of water. 2 of the men had gunshot wounds to the head and the third had been strangled, which were the 2 methods used by the mysterious woman in previous incidents. These men had come to Germany to buy a used car and they were likely attacked and robbed after making the purchase. By this point, it was clear. The police in Germany, France, and Austria were dealing with an elusive serial killer and robber who is now being
No way there's a serial killer killing this many people though. Dude, I think it's crazy. Like, back in the day, you could literally get away with murder. And, like, people wouldn't know. Because, like, they didn't have anything to track you. You just... It's like eyewitnesses. Like, I saw he had a mustache or something. Like, that's all they had back then. Like, now we have, like, cameras and shit. Like, there's no way you're getting away.
Called it the Phantom of Heilbronn. Investigators in the 3 countries were working day and night to uncover her identity. Shockingly, even with the ongoing search, the Phantom stayed active. Her DNA was found at 7 different robbery locations over the next 3 months, as well as in the car of a 45-year-old named Diana after a mysterious death in a pool. In total, the Phantom's DNA linked her to over 40 robberies and thefts.
40? Oh my god, bro, that's insane.
And 6 confirmed murders across 3 countries. Oh how could someone be in so many different, completely unrelated places, commit so many crimes?
Dude, that's all over the country. Like, I get Europe is smaller than the US, but that's literally all over the country.
And leave behind no evidence besides her DNA.
Yeah, and only DNA, like, because they can't track her either. That's so insane.
Something was not adding up. Fortunately, all of these questions were finally answered in March 2009 when a man was arrested on a charge completely unrelated to any of the Phantom's cases. But when he was given a DNA test, it came back as a perfect match for the Phantom's DNA.
Oh my god, so it wasn't a woman.
Who was supposed to be a woman. This breakthrough allowed investigators to uncover the only logical reason why the Phantom's DNA was found on so many different crime scenes: contamination. Sure enough, when they ran DNA tests on some of the unused cotton swabs investigators used to gather samples, they had traces of her DNA as well. Following this lead, investigators
Oh, so it wasn't him, it was 2 people.
were able to track
Was it 2 people or 1 person? I'm confused.
down the source, a female worker at the factory where these swabs were packaged, who, after some digging, was cleared of all the crimes linked to her DNA. As it turned out, investigators had been using cotton swabs that were never meant to be used for forensic analysis.
Damn, so they just had another person's DNA. So that's why, dude, this girl was actually like being accused of like 40 murders. That's so crazy.
And while this embarrassing revelation was somewhat amusing, it didn't change the fact that dozens of victims were denied justice while the police chased a phantom killer who never existed.
So it wasn't him? That's weird.
This is an 11-page report with a staggering amount of information that data brokers can collect about you and sell for a profit.
There's an ad. Dude, Chilling Scares. This is a long ad. Holy shit. It's like 2 minutes.
Paul was a 19-year-old college student, the Manchester Pusher. Sovik Paul was a 19-year-old college student from India. He traveled to the UK in 2012 to pursue an art degree at Manchester Metropolitan University, and it didn't take long for him to build a close circle of friends. He was with these friends when he visited the Warehouse Project nightclub on New Year's Eve of the same year.
I feel like I've seen that place.
Unfortunately, the group got separated at around 11 p.m. when one of the friends received a text from Sovik stating that he had been kicked out of the club. But when this friend tried to contact him back a few minutes later, Sovik did not respond. He also didn't return home that night, prompting his flatmate to file a missing person report around 5:30 a.m. Sovik was last seen standing outside the club for only a minute before walking away.
Damn. Bro, imagine the last time anybody sees you is on a fucking one resolution camera that's in black and white, bro. That's actually so sad.
But despite this CCTV footage giving a clue about the direction he went, Sovik was unfortunately nowhere to be found. The breakthrough in his search came on January 22nd when a team of divers discovered his body in the Bridgewater Canal near Old Trafford Stadium. After some more investigation, Sovik's death was ruled an accident. Put simply, he fell into the canal, was immobilized by the freezing water, and drowned before anyone could notice and help. However, while the official investigation didn't find any injuries or signs of foul play, for many, Sovik's death wasn't an accident at all.
I mean, that doesn't really make sense. How do you just... if he wasn't drunk, how do you just fall into the river? Like, there's railing.
To them, he was the latest victim of the Manchester Pusher, a mysterious serial
He got pushed? Oh, shit.
killer who targeted young men around the Manchester area and ended their lives by pushing them into the many bodies of water scattered throughout the city. The idea of this serial killer was first...
Dude, did y'all see the fucking... What is it? The loop puncher, bro? That shit's crazy, bro. That's so fucked up. He's, like, hitting people and shit. That was, like, a while... I don't know if he's still around or shit, but it's weird.
Popularized by a
Fuck that guy.
2015 article written by psychology professor Craig Jackson after he noticed that over 85 mysterious drowning deaths had occurred in Manchester since 2008. This was far higher than the national average. And what made this even more alarming was that in over a third of these cases, investigators couldn't determine the circumstances leading up to the drowning at all. However, the most concrete evidence of the pusher's existence comes from an incident that happened on April 10th, 2018. On that night, at around 10 p.m., a 34-year-old man was cycling home from work alongside the Bridgewater Canal. This was a part of his daily routine, and he had traveled this exact route countless times before, so he wasn't paying much attention to his surroundings. A mistake that nearly cost him his life.
Damn.
A man suddenly emerged from the shadows and swung
this guy?
his arm at the cyclist, striking his neck and causing him to fall into the canal. Fortunately, the water wasn't cold enough to immediately incapacitate the cyclist, so he quickly swam back to the canal's edge. But the man who pushed him in was still there, and as soon as the cyclist tried to get out, the man kicked his hand, sending him back into the water. Luckily, an unrelated ambulance happened to drive by the canal at that time, frightening the man and causing him to flee the scene.
Damn.
After minutes of struggling, the cyclist eventually managed to get himself out of the canal and back to safety.
Let me guess, he didn't know what the guy looked like.
He later shared his story on Facebook, further fueling the pusher narrative. The Manchester police, however, have dismissed this theory at every turn, insisting that the mysterious serial killer is nothing more than a myth or urban legend. David Wilson, an official from the...
How are you gonna say that, though, when there's, like, more, like, way above average people falling into the rivers? Like, that's... It's not just ruling it out by saying it's a conspiracy theory. Like, bro, there's like proof of it. It's not a theory. There's like some evidence that can prove that.
Manchester Water Safety
It might not be true, but it also might be true.
Partnership has even gone as far as to claim that a significant number of these deaths were likely alcohol related, where
That
intoxicated
makes sense. That makes sense. They don't have edges. Okay, that kind of does make sense. I think they should put up some railing. Because they could be alcohol related. Just the first guy doesn't make any sense because he wasn't alcohol related. He wasn't allowed in the club. So it might have been out of the ordinary or something.
men accidentally fall into the river and couldn't save themselves before tragically losing their lives. Which, given the circumstances, makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Especially since the canal is surrounded by numerous bars and nightclubs.
Yeah.
And also because, despite the countless CCTV cameras in that area, none have ever captured someone following or attacking one of the drowning victims. Many believe that the
I
story
don't know how you can fucking tell with this quality, bro. You can't tell what the hell is happening.
have ever captured someone following or attacking one of the drowning victims. Many believe that the story of the cyclist seeing and surviving the Manchester Pusher, which is the only account of someone actually seeing him, was either way over dramatized or made up completely to fuel conspiracy theories.
I mean, bro, it could be that, or it could just be people in the moment being like, oh my god, this has to be it. But, you know, maybe somebody did push him in. It might have not been the guy, though.
So, unless some groundbreaking evidence comes forward, the Manchester Pusher will go down as a serial killer who never existed. Salish Sea Killer. On the 20th of August 2007, a 12-year-old girl was walking alongside the coastline of Jedediah Island, located in the middle of the Salish Sea in British Columbia, Canada, when something unusual washed up on the shore, catching her attention. A closer look revealed that it was a size 12 running shoe that looked almost new. Curious, she picked it up to examine it further, but it felt
Was there a foot inside of it? Oh no.
unusually heavy. The reason for which became clear as soon as she looked inside. There was a nearly intact
Oh, hell no. That's so crazy. Oh my god. There's just a separated foot inside of it. Oh my god.
severed human foot still in it. Now, a discovery like this was unsettling enough on its own. What made it far more disturbing, however, was that it wouldn't be
new. It's new. It's barely touched. That means it's like hella recent. Like if it's underwater for like an hour, it's not even gonna look new, bro. That had to be like literally 10 minutes.
the last. Just 6 days later, a couple was out hiking on the coast of Gabriola Island, 31 miles or 50 kilometers south of
Did they
Jedediah
find the other shoe?
Island, when they discovered another running shoe with a
It's a different person. Oh my god.
foot inside. An important thing to note here is that the two shoes were completely different in size, brand, and model. They were also both for the right foot. In other words, they belonged to two different people. From there, discoveries of
Oh my god. That's so many shoes.
shoes with feet still inside them became a hauntingly regular occurrence in the areas surrounding the Salish Sea, with one or two shoes being discovered almost every year. In total, 21 different shoes were discovered up to
21? No way. 20. Dude, that means 21 people got killed. And their feet and their foot got cut off with the shoe in.
2019, giving rise to many
I mean, bro, that had to have been the same person. Who else would do that?
theories trying to explain the strange phenomenon. These included everything from the shoes belonging to the victims of the 2004 tsunami in the Indian Ocean to people kidnapped.
No, bro. Do you think all of their foot would be just perfectly cut off? No way. You'd think, I feel like they'd find like one every 2 years from washing up. Not everybody's right foot popping up in a different shoe.
And tortured by gangsters. That said, the theory that gained the most attention online linked these discoveries to the so-called Salish Sea Killer. Someone who cut off their victims' feet before dumping them into the Salish Sea, allowing the currents to scatter them across the region. But as morbidly intriguing as this theory was, it couldn't have been further from the truth. The only evidence backing the serial killer premise was the shoe discovered in December 2011 in Seattle. This one was wrapped in a plastic bag and had the lower leg still attached to it. However, given the bag and the attached leg, it was likely an attempt to hide the evidence.
Can they not detect if it was cut or not? Because if it's being sawed at the bone, you can tell, right? But I mean, I feel like that's something that they can like detect.
of an unrelated
With technology and shit.
murder and had nothing to do with the other shoes discovered around the Salish Sea. More importantly, DNA testing on the discovered feet allowed investigators to uncover the true origins of the mysterious shoes. And what they
Was it
found
like
was a lot
bears?
more mundane, yet equally tragic. Put simply, the vast majority of the discovered feet belonged to people who fell into the Salish Sea and drowned, whether by
How did their feet go off though? That doesn't make sense.
accident or on purpose. One of the discovered remains even belonged to a fisherman who went missing all the way back in 1987.
Damn.
As for why the feet were severed from the rest of the body, the explanation is actually quite straightforward. Marine animals likely ate the remains of the deceased, while the
Oh,
shoes
they
kept
didn't eat the shoe.
the feet specifically protected. Once they were detached from the rest of the body, the buoyancy of the running shoes made it easier for the current
Damn, that's so crazy. Yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say like that makes no sense, but now that they have an explanation, it makes a lot of sense.
to carry them to the shore. And while these discoveries spiked between 2007 and 2019, there are still some being found to this day, with the most recent case emerging in July of 2023, further weakening the serial killer theory. The Chicago Strangler. In June 1999,
What the
32
The Strangler? Holy shit.
year-old Angela Ford left her home in Chicago to pick up her children's report cards from their school. Before leaving, she reassured her children that it was a short trip and that she'd be back in less than 30 minutes. But she never returned. Her husband
Damn.
filed a missing person report that same evening. Unfortunately, Angela wouldn't be found for another week until June 14th. Investigators found her barely alive in an abandoned building just 2 miles from her home. She
Still
had been
alive? No way.
strangled and suffered
A week you're still alive? She probably didn't have any food.
multiple other injuries. Sadly, while she was still breathing, she had fallen into a deep coma. And after remaining in that state for over a year and a half, Angela passed away on January 4th, 2001.
Damn.
Worst of all, the person who did this to her was never identified. Though, over time, Angela would be recognized as the first victim of a supposed serial killer known as the Chicago Strangler. The existence of this alleged serial killer was first brought to light by investigative journalist Thomas Hargrove in 2018. Thomas is the founder of a nonprofit called Murder Accountability Project. This organization gathers crime data from around the US and then uses a custom algorithm to find links and connections between these crimes based on factors like location, method, victim's profile, and much more. In 2014, Thomas's algorithm even helped the police tie several horrific crimes to a single
Just this guy? Bro, that's sick.
suspect, eventually resulting in the arrest of Darren Dion Van, a serial killer who later confessed to ending the lives of 7 different women, though the actual
7. Oh my god, bro. That's insane.
number could be as high as 18. Put simply,
18? That's more than like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Thomas's organization and algorithm are proven to be effective at solving real cases, which is why it drew a lot of attention in 2018 when he proposed the existence of the Chicago Strangler. According to Thomas's report, the Chicago Strangler is believed to have claimed the lives of as many as 51 women.
51! No way. That's actually like hard to do. 51 people? Oh my god. Yo, that's so insane. 2 people on the same day too? That's insane. Bro, how do you even... That's literally more than like John Wayne Gacy, bro.
Beginning with Angela Ford in 2001. And at first glance, the similarities between these dozens of incidents are striking to say the least. All of these victims are women, mostly African American descent. Many of them also came from the city's poorer neighborhoods. Most importantly, the methods used in some of these cases were eerily consistent. Like 21-year-old Teresa Bunn, whose remains were discovered in a flaming dumpster in November 2007. And according to a later autopsy report, she was more than likely strangled before the perpetrator discarded her in the dumpster and set it ablaze. Then, just a few days later, the Chicago Fire Department also discovered the remains of 52
The same thing happened. Damn, that's so crazy.
year-old Hazel Lewis, who tragically suffered the same fate as Teresa. Those are just 2 of multiple examples where the victims took their last breaths under similar circumstances. Thus, the conclusion that they were all committed by the same person or group, the Chicago Strangler. However, not everyone agrees with this assessment.
I mean, that's 2 cases.
Critics of
That's 2 cases, but still, that's weird, bro. There's no way 51 people, though. That's hard. That's, like, almost impossible to do.
The
Without getting caught? No way.
serial killer theory argue that while the number of victims at 51 seems absurdly high at first,
Yeah.
it averages out to about 3 per year, which, given Chicago's
That's three people getting killed a year. Dude, that's insane.
population of over 2.6 million, is sadly not out of the ordinary.
Wait, what?
Chicago's population of first, it averages out to about 3 per year, which, given Chicago's population of over 2.6 million, is sadly not out of the ordinary.
Does that many people die in Chicago every year, though? Do that many people get murdered? I feel like that's insane. Like, yeah, when you think about it in a statistic, like, standpoint, it doesn't really make it, like, isn't out of the ordinary. But when you really think about it, bro, that's 3 people that you kill. Like, that's insane. Also, that's the average. That's not the actual amount of people every year. That was just the average amount. Because that's going to be lower.
However, the strongest opposition to the idea of the Chicago Strangler comes from Chicago's own police department, with a spokesperson stating, "There is absolutely no information to suggest that this is the work
Dude,
of a
I just
serial
got flashbanged.
killer." The city's chief of detectives, Melissa Staples, also mentioned that they've taken DNA samples from many of the incidents attributed to the Chicago Strangler. But even after thorough testing, they did not find any correlation between the samples, suggesting each crime was committed by a different person. Whether or not the Chicago Strangler is a real person is still debated to this day. But given all the evidence, the most likely explanation is they never existed, and all the murders committed were isolated and unrelated.
How are all these not grouped together, at least, like, most of them, bro? Dude, this is like they're dying in the same way, and they're the same demographic of people all getting killed. Dude, I mean, that'd be a crazy coincidence. Like, and literally once in a lifetime coincidence.
Tragedies.
Damn. Hey, W video. Hey, YouTube, thank you for watching. Yeah, thank you for watching. Alright, now let's move on to some other shit. I don't want to do a scary video. Oh, that's gross. Bruh, I need like a shorter video. Bro, let's see. Damn. Free Sudan, bro. Okay, this is a good
Evil
one.
people?
Evil people in history you've never heard of.
Evil
Let's go. I think I might know some of them.
people you've never heard of.
Never heard of this guy.
They say that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. A quote that perfectly describes Vasily Blokhin, the deadliest executioner in known human history.
The deadliest? I feel like there's some more deadly people. Executioner, though, I don't really know what that entails.
Blokhin got his first taste for blood after joining the Red Army during the events of World War I. Over the years, he became the perfect soldier. One who was able to perform tasks effectively, efficiently, and without hesitation. This, of course, really accelerated Blokhin's military career, as in 1921, he was recruited into the Soviet secret police organization known as the NKVD. One bonus on his extensive resume was his innate ability to remain emotionally numb when carrying out acts of violence.
Oh, so he's just a psychopath. I mean, all these people are gonna be psychopaths. I don't know what I'm saying.
He simply saw it as part of the job, comparative to menial tasks like filing paperwork or having to put up with Deborah from HR's incessant complaints that your funny shirt just isn't work appropriate. Blokkin's unique skill, if you would call it that, quickly distinguished him.
Not skill. He's emotionless. He's a psychopath. That's not skill. He just can't feel anything.
Amongst his peers. If you needed someone dead, Vasily was your guy. His work and unwavering loyalty continued to push him upward and onward. In just 6 years, he was assigned as head of a newly created branch of the NKVD by Mr. Supreme Soviet leader guy Joseph Stalin. A branch specific.
Fuck Joseph Stalin, bro. That is a really bad guy. Oh my god. He made like the gulag or whatever.
Specifically designed for executions. And with that, Blokhin had become one of Stalin's most trusted workers, executing low and high-profile targets without question.
Excellent work, Blokhin. That goes right up on fridge.
During his service, Blokhin had personally executed thousands of people, including
Thousands? No way he killed thousands. That's insane. By himself. That's crazy.
high-ranking Soviet
Do they have swords? That's also kind of stupid.
officials during the Great Purge, an internal mass execution of anyone remotely accused of opposing Stalin's rule. Blokhin himself had been spared from the purge due to his repeated proofs of loyalty to the Soviet cause, his magnum opus being his involvement in the Katyn massacre. Now, if you've never heard of the Katyn massacre, I wouldn't be surprised. When teaching about World War II, history classes tend to focus on German war atrocities and kind of skim over all.
I mean, not for good, like, obviously you should go over everything, but that's probably, bro, it's like one of the worst things in history to ever happen. Like, why would you not go over that?
The other ones,
But yeah, I mean, obviously you should go over all history.
especially the Soviet Union's. Despite the German invasion of Poland in 1939 and
Yeah, like, I don't know a lot of shit about the Gulag. I was never taught about that. But, like, you obviously have to go over World War II, bro. That's, like, one of the worst wars in history, if not the worst.
World War II officially starting, the Allied powers of Great Britain and France didn't really do much in retaliation.
Oi, Germany, you better leave Poland alone.
Oh, fair point, carry on. The big bad Soviet Union had also invaded Poland just a few weeks later, capturing hundreds of thousands of
Yeah, didn't they put, like, Polish people in concentration camps?
Polish prisoners of war, many of which were sent to labor camps, but in the spring of 1940, around 22,000 prisoners consisting of Polish officers, engineers,
They were all killed. Are we serious?
teachers, and other civilians were systematically executed under Blokhin's supervision, with Blokhin himself having personally executed over 7,000.
No way! 7,000! That is impossible. That cannot be true. That cannot be true.
People in just 28 days.
That is not true. I refuse to believe that. If that is true, that is insane. But bro, 7,000 people, are you serious? Bro, that's almost impossible to do. You have to be killing people every single day.
Think about that
Like every single fucking minute.
for a second. 7,000 people in 28 days. That's 250 people a day. Now,
250! That's insane.
Blokhin and his men reportedly would work 10-hour days nonstop, so that's 25 people an hour,
That's insane. There's no way.
or one person every 2 to 3 minutes. Now, these weren't indirectly through ordering his men.
One person every 2 to 3 minutes for 10 hours straight for 28 days. That's so crazy.
But this was by his own hand. Blokhin had pretty much developed an assembly line of death so efficient it would make Henry Ford envious. Prisoners would be
So
escorted
he's just making people walk in a line and get shot.
into a soundproofed room against a sandbag-lined wall. Without a word, these prisoners' last sensation would be feeling the muzzle of a German pistol in the back of their neck before being brutally murdered.
Damn.
Wait, a German pistol? I hear you ask. Why would Soviets be using German pistols? 2 words: plausible deniability. Think of it this way. If
Oh, they could blame it on Germans. Damn, that's crazy.
Thousands of victims in mass graves happen to be found with German bullets lodged in their noggins. Who do you think's gonna be blamed? Don't look at us, it was them. Blokken's massacre is regarded as the largest mass murder conducted by a single person in known human history,
That's
even
so
acknowledged by the
Bro,
coveted
7,000 people. That's insane. Bro, by himself. That's actually, I feel like that's impossible.
Guinness Book of World Records in 2010.
Okay, that's so crazy that they put him in world records.
Really stretching for content there.
Yeah, that's
It is
crazy.
believed that throughout his career, Blokken's personal kill count had reached tens of thousands, but his spree would soon come to an end. After Stalin privately passed away in a puddle of piss in 1953, Blokken was forced into retirement in disgrace. He was ostracized by the public and stripped of his military honors during the
Bro, if I was a citizen, I would fucking kill him, bro. He killed tens of thousands of people by himself. That's so crazy. No way.
de-Stalinization of the Soviet Union. So, of course, he did what any Russian does when they're sad or happy or breathing. He consumed a lot of alcohol, a habit
and then he
that
died.
eventually led to his death in 1955 at the age of 60.
I hope he doesn't rest in peace, bro. That's so crazy.
Well, dang, that's pretty evil. Sure hope nothing bad like that happens to me. Hey, it's ad time. Welcome to...
Aw.
Gosh dang it! Right after the thrilling events of World War I in 1918, the Austro-Hungarian Empire had collapsed. With a little bit of elbow grease and the mashing together of various kingdoms and regions, a new political entity was formed. The state of Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs. Home to many Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs.
Really?
One of those kingdoms thrown in the mix was Croatia, the birthplace of this stern jug of juice, Ante Pavelić.
Uh-oh.
His main personality trait was loving Croatia. God, he loved Croatia. So much so that he made a name for himself and rose through the ranks as a politician and representative in state parliament in order to demand Croatian independence. But this guy, Alexander I, had other ideas.
Didn't this guy start World War II or something? Or was that somebody else?
Who's he? Well,
Or start World War One?
he's the Prince Regent in these parts and the one who just got done unifying all of these kingdoms and states. Years and years of political turmoil ensued, which is honestly to be expected when you force a bunch of different political regions together into singularity. In 1929, now King Alexander had hit a boiling point. In order to regain order, he dismantled and banned all political parties, declaring a
What?
royal
Bruh. He spent his whole time trying to unify people, and then just became a dictator. Oh my god.
dictatorship. He even came up with a new name for his kingdom, Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia. But since Yugoslavia is not Croatia, Pavelić had it. He fled the kingdom and conspired with revolutionary groups to undermine the rule of Yugoslavia, who responded, "Do you want a death sentence? 'Cause that's how you get a death sentence." And so Pavelić got a death sentence. He was exiled to Germany, but since he didn't feel like dying quite yet, he instead skedaddled off to seek asylum in Italy. There, he used his political influence and persuasive stern look to form the Ustasha, a Croatian nationalist movement aimed at achieving Croatian independence by any means necessary. And you can bet your fat tits that means bombings, assassinations, and uprisings. During said uprisings, King Alexander regrettably stated,
If you want a regime change, you need to kill me.
They did.
Bro, what?
On October 9th, 1934,
He just said you need to kill me. What?
King Alexander I was assassinated by
This is the guy that started World Wars.
Ustasha member Vlado Chernozemski, using a handgun hidden in a bouquet of flowers. Still living in Italy, Pavelić, along with several accomplices, were determined to be culpable for the assassination and were sentenced to death by Yugoslavia's friend France, who pressured Italy to carry out the deed. And Italy was all, "Linguini fettuccini, we ask a Mussolini." Thanks to his political privileges, Pavelić was only put under house arrest for 18 months. That'll teach him. Right, France? Oh, here we go. Looks like Germany's back at it again, and the world collectively Versailles in disappointment. After the invasion of France in 1940, Nazi Germany invaded Yugoslavia in 1941. This ultimately resulted in Pavelić being installed as dictator to a newly independent Croatia. The main mustache himself even met with Pavelić and gave some pointers in the art of ethnic cleansing.
Wasn't there like a study about this fellow right here that he had like a micro penis or something and like couldn't produce sperm. I saw some study about that. That's just so hilarious.
The only art he ever saw any success in. But Pavlich would soon put this advice into action. During World War II, Pavlich had created his own network of concentration camps run by his beloved Ustasha, one of which being the Sisak concentration camp, the only known camp specifically designed for children. These camps
What
carried
the
out
fuck? I did not know about this.
the collection and mass murder of nearly 400,000 Serbs, Jews, and Romani, with an additional 300,000 either exiled or forcibly converted to Eastern Orthodox Christianity, all for the sake of Croatian ethnic homogeneity. Towns were completely ransacked, villages were outright destroyed, and hundreds of thousands of innocent lives were lost. These actions gave the Ustasha notoriety that struck fear into the hearts of anyone who dared cross their path. Nazi Army General Edmund Gleisa-Hochtenau witnessed firsthand the atrocity of Pavlich and the Ustasha, saying, quote, "Our troops have to be mute witnesses of such events. It does not reflect well on their otherwise high reputation. The Ustasha have gone raging mad." That's pretty telling when even a Nazi general thinks you're being a bad dude. After the Axis powers fell,
Yeah,
Pavlich
bro, no way, like one of the worst fucking groups in history is calling another group bad. Like, I get it, bro, but like, you're also a fucking terrible guy. Like,
got the hell out of Dodge,
you cannot be passing judgment when you should be taking that judgment.
eventually fleeing to Argentina in 1948. But then some other surviving Ustasha members arrived. After a quick reunion of high fives and smooches, the gang wasted no time in forming the Croatian Liberation Movement. Persistent little buggers, weren't they? They were basically trying to control this from over here. It didn't work.
How does that
After
work?
an assassination attempt in
How the fuck do you even do that? What?
1957, Pavlich hightailed it out of Argentina, eventually ending up in Spain, where he died of his injuries 2 years later.
Never heard of this either.
This is Idi Amin, regarded as one of the cruelest dictators in Ugandan history. He had humble beginnings back in 1946, where he served in the colonial army as a cook's assistant.
It's weird to think, bro, this wasn't even 100 years ago. This was like 80 years ago.
In addition to cooking up a good steak, Amin was raring to have a job well done in his military career, so he speed ran through promotions within the Ugandan army, making it all the way up to captain in 1962.
I'm the captain now.
All of this impressive progress received recognition from Ugandan Prime Minister Milton Obote, and a friendship formed. Hey, hi. One that would be fruitful in many shady activities, including ivory and gold smuggling. After being threatened with investigation by the Ugandan parliament, Obote overthrew King President Person Mutesa II and seized the position for himself in 1966. The ex-king was exiled to the UK, where he lamented over the loss of his country.
Damn. That sucks, bro. Having to live in the UK.
Ultimately drinking himself to death just 3 years later.
Poor little guy.
After the coup, Obote promoted a now more rotund Amin to commander of the Ugandan army. But all good times must come to an end. Obote himself was a terrible ruler. His regime was plagued with corruption and terror, resulting in nationwide starvation and cruelties toward the Ugandan people. Not surprisingly, Obote had experienced a failed assassination attempt where he was shot through the teeth and out his cheek. The assassin
No
missed,
way.
and Obote is pissed. So in
How do you miss?
response, he had any and all political parties banned, with their members jailed for life. Meanwhile, Amin was in the corner doing his own thing, building up his beloved military for less than necessary fighting in neighboring wars. Obote didn't like that, and Amin didn't like that Obote didn't like that, so they began not liking each other. As a personal bitch slap, Obote had stripped Amin of his freshly granted commanding privileges and threatened him with jail time for misappropriating military funds. But this only activated Amin's trap card, prompting a takeover of the Ugandan government while Obote was out and about doing president things. The Ugandan people, having just gone through years of suffering under Obote's regime, were pretty thrilled and cheered Amin's efforts. Now in control in 1971, Amin declared that the military would temporarily run the government until new elections could be run. He even promised to free all political prisoners. But he never did. In reality, he flew too close to the sun,
Promising things and not going through with them. Interesting.
taking comfort in its warmth. Just a week later, Amin declared himself President of Uganda, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Ugandan Army Chief of Staff, and Chief of Air Staff. The ego's starting to take
Yeah, bro, no way. Bro, actually just like giving himself roles.
over a bit. With this uncontested power, Amin began systematic executions of anyone who, he believed, would oppose his rule. Roughly 15,000 civilians had disappeared, now believed to have been kidnapped and given front row tickets to Amin's newly constructed state-of-the-art torture facility. However, this failed to slake Amin's thirst for blood. He soon expanded his list of victims to various groups throughout the country. We're talking artists, journalists, lawyers, students, senior members of government, foreign nationals, anyone who had even the most infinitesimally small tie to Obote. There were even rumors of Amin being a cannibal, or at least having tasted human meat, though it seems like he rated it 1 star as it was, quote, too salty for him.
It's meat. What do you mean it's too salty? Meat is salty, bro. What? What meat are you having that's sweet?
Rights organizations estimate that between 300,000 to 500,000 people were slain under Amin's tyrannical rule. Known as the Butcher of Africa, Idi Amin not only murdered his own people, but devastated the Ugandan economy as well. He had expelled around 80,000 business owners and seized their property. So Amin walked up to an African stand and he said to the man running the stand, "Hey, bum bum bum, get out of here or I'll kill you." Then he waddled away, waddle waddle. These businesses, which were basically the country's economic backbone, were handed off to his inner circle, and they all quickly went bankrupt from mismanagement. Edie?
No shit, if he's just giving it to his friends, what?
Or like Edie it. Anyway, the businesses accounted for about 90% of the government's tax revenue, so government funds went...
Bro, he just kicked everybody out of their business and then ruined his own economy.
Poof. Yeah, just like that. Amin became blinded with power, so much so that he was unable to see the inevitable brick wall that the country was heading towards. His closest cabinet members, realizing that murdering everyone and crippling an economy aren't really the best long-term policies, started to defect, abandoning Uganda to seek safety elsewhere. Amin even began losing control over his own military. Coups and mutinies were commonplace as officers fought for power. But he had a plan. I have a plan. We're gonna take Tanzania. Alley-oop. He's just not as funny as oversimplified. Uh-oh. Tanzania fought back. Hard. In order to save face, the former 10-time Ugandan light heavyweight champion Amin had a plan. I have a plan. Yeah, Amin actually suggested a boots-to-asses 1v1 super slam. But the Tanzanian president...
Low key, instead of doing wars, I've always thought about this. We should just have like boxing matches or something with the presidents and just see what happens. Like, bro, if you really want to pick a fight, bro, don't kill the citizens, bro. Just fight the president if that's what you're after, bro. Just go in a boxing match. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. Less people have to die. Like, bro, so much easier. Or like a CSGO match or something. I don't know.
Had a plan of his own. In the end, Amin was deposed and fled in exile, where he apparently ate up to 40 oranges a day until his death in 2003.
Bro, how are you even eating that many oranges? Never heard of this guy either.
Our last stop is definitely no picnic. Now, if this video wasn't satisfying enough, I do have more of these little evil bastards for another video. So if you want me to make it...
Touchy Todd? These can't be real people.
Let me know in the comments. While you're at it, let me know who you would want me to cover. For our last entry, we'll be taking a trip down to Colombia. Now, any of you Colombians out there might be familiar with this guy, but for those of us who don't put cheese in our hot chocolate, let me introduce you to Luis Garavito, perhaps one of the most prolific serial killers in modern history. This guy was a straight
kill like a shit ton of people.
up monster. Appropriately nicknamed La Bestia, or The Beast, Garavito was arrested in 1999 and convicted of murdering 193...
What the fuck? How? Literally how? The last video we watched, the guy killed 51 people. That's insane already? Bro, how do you kill 193 people? How? Without getting caught. Without getting caught before.
children. Garavito...
Kids? How? Literally how?
Those crimes began when he was just
Bro, there's literally that's so insane.
15 in 1972. He had reportedly suffered severe depression, psychosis, and paranoia, allegedly stemming from an extremely abusive and traumatic childhood at the hand of his father. Pairing all that mental anguish with crippling alcoholism and an aggressive personality, Garavito began compulsively forcing himself on young children. Disgusted by his own actions, he had attempted to seek help, attending church sermons,
Oh, he was a pedophile too. No wonder.
AA meetings, and even seeing psychiatrists, wanting nothing more than to live a normal, happy life. But he was never able to claw himself out of the dark hole that he was in. Look, there's no denying that childhood trauma is tragic, but when you commit unspeakable acts of violence against innocent children, or really anyone for that matter,
I mean,
sympathy
bro, there's no excuse for liking kids, and there's also no excuse for killing 200 people.
kind of goes out the window. Being a victim's one thing, creating victims is another.
Yeah.
Moving into the 80s, Garavito's habits had only escalated. He emphasized that his urges to act out were constant and, according to him, uncontrollable. He would impulsively assault homeless children, and to make matters worse, began carrying razor blades and lighters to satiate his growing lust for violence. After each outburst and eventually regaining his composure, Garavito claimed that he would be overwhelmed with guilt. He would write down the names of his victims in a notebook and pray for their safety. At this point,
What do you mean pray for their safety? They're dead.
his victim count had crossed above 100. Devastated by his supposedly uncontrollable impulses,
Dude, he was like 16. Oh my god.
he desperately tried to find any answers as to why he was the way he was. He looked to religion, astrology, the occult, really anything that
I mean, bro, looking into religion, I'm not religious, but looking into religion is just, I would say, not a good idea if you're dealing with mental problems, because a lot of people with mental problems that go into religion have religious psychosis, and that shit like will kill you.
could potentially bring him some revelation. But during this little literary leap, he had stumbled upon a certain notorious autobiography.
Oh no.
With each turn of the page, Garavito really started relating to this Adolf guy. I mean, they both suffered abusive childhoods, lived in poverty, are both
And they both killed a lot of people. Given that this is one guy, but the other guy is also one guy. There was a big difference in the amount killed, but same idea.
complete dickholes, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, both terrible people.
Luis even went a bit further and began idolizing one Campo Delgado, a Colombian serial killer who had publicly murdered 28 people, including his own mother, in the 1980s.
fuck?
More specifically, he admired the national attention that Delgado received and wanted to experience
He just wanted attention, damn.
that firsthand. Now, the 1990s is where Garavito really went off the rails. He was now apathetic in his crimes. He felt nothing. No remorse, no sorrow, nothing. With all emotional ties cut, Garavito's actions hit an apex.
I mean, he's just doing it to feel anything now.
Across this decade, Luis committed the mass murder and assault of hundreds of children. In disguise, he lured victims into secluded areas in broad daylight where they were assaulted, stabbed, cut, burned, beaten, eviscerated, and dismembered. After their passing, the victims were often placed in dozens of mass graves scattered across the countryside, with some containing as many as 40 bodies. Now
What
you
the hell? No way.
can't really hide violence of that caliber for
Yeah, there's no way.
long, so eventually the graves were discovered in 1998 and an official investigation was launched. Because of
Dude, that's so long after he killed them, though. He'd already killed hundreds.
his continued alcoholism, Garavito's work was sloppy. He would often leave articles of clothing, empty liquor bottles, and various belongings at his crime scenes. Honestly, it's kind of weird that it took so long to
Why is there a snail?
get caught, but the mountains of evidence did eventually lead to his arrest in 1999. While being interrogated, Garavito
No way he's crying. Bro, you're a fucking killer. Bro.
confessed to the murder of hundreds of children. Now, of course, in order to prevent the large, sandpapery, unlubed fist
I mean, there's no way you can play that. He confessed to killing hundreds of kids.
of YouTube from giving my butthole an identical neighbor, I of course cannot go into the nitty-gritty of the crimes. You morbidly curious little deviants would have to look that up for yourselves. But don't say I didn't warn you. In the end, Garavito's
I
crimes
think I understand what he did pretty well.
rightfully warranted a sentence of up to 1,853 years.
Damn. Over 1,000 years? Yeah. That's warranted, though. Definitely warranted.
And 9 days in prison. That's pretty great. Except for the fact that Colombian law at the time prevented any sentence from being longer than 40 years. And get
What? Bro, he should just live in prison till he dies. What?
this. Since he had given a full confession and even helped investigators find the bodies, his sentence was further reduced down to just 22
No way. Bro, he got out when he was like still alive.
years. And the Colombian population
Bro, they had, I hope they killed him. I really hope they killed him.
was pissed. But luckily, in 2021, Garavito's parole was personally denied by the Colombian president, who vowed that he would never be a free man again.
2021, bro, that's like 20 years. Oh no, wait, that's like 2 years after he got out. Still, bro, that's crazy.
And he never was. Luis Garavito was diagnosed with eye cancer and died in prison in 2023. That video was a real doozy, wasn't it? Looks like you need to clean your mind of all this negativity. So go ahead and click the
Damn. Hey, W video. That was crazy. I haven't heard of most of those people. I knew about some of them. Mostly, I just knew about some of the people mentioned. Low key, we should low key raid somebody. Gotta do every stream. Okay. Let's see, Twitch.com. I have to stay muted now because it's like actually bad how much, what's it called, like unshowable shit there is on Twitch right now. Creative. Yeah, I want to go to art. Now, last time I went to art, it was pretty weird, though. Let's go to making and crafting. People making keyboards. Who's that person I raided last time? I want to raid them again. Seems like they aren't live. Damn. I don't know. There aren't really a lot of art people on right now. Maybe the music. Like people that are. I want to see like people like playing instruments. Yeah, here we go. Musicians. Violin. I mean, I can't really tell if they're playing. Oh, there's like shit that I actually can't show here. Damn, they don't, bro. Twitch has like some weird ass rules, bro. They allow like some shit, but also don't allow other shit. It's weird. Let's see some people playing. Actually, I want to do creative shit though. Let's go for food and drink. Let's see people making food. This is just like people eating food though. I want to see people making it. Maybe they don't have that either. Let's just go to art. I hope there's just not weird shit. Like there's a lot of odd, like a lot of these say like sexual themes, which really is not good to show. I want to see people like hand making stuff. Oh, let's see this. Coloring.
Yeah. And he doesn't. Oh, so cute.
Is this person
They're
British?
so cute. I love them. I would be very sad if they didn't end up together.
Maybe. I have to hit
It
an
wouldn't
hour,
make sense
though,
to me.
so
I'd be like,
maybe
why
next
have you
time.
done this? Duffer Brothers.
Sorry to whoever I was about to raid. I have to hit an hour. That's my goal every single time, so. Sorry to the person coloring. All these are on Photoshop. I mean, that makes sense. I want to see like painting. Like, do we still have like some Bob Rosses around that are like painting stuff, doing like, I don't know. I mean, there's no way that is allowed to be shown. I mean, I can't show this shit. Okay. I just an hour. I guess I'm gonna have to painting. Yeah, this is what I want to see. People painting. No, there's nobody that's like painting. I mean, it's just hard, bro. It's hard to find content that's like not just exactly the same. Which stream what you want to stream. I mean, I probably do the most boring shit ever, but I want to see some like piano. I want to see some people playing piano. Some bass, that's cool. Let's see the bass. That's sick. Take a guitar.
You some Adele. I'm about to give you more Adele.
Adele though, let me hear some like metal, bro. I want to hear somebody playing something like hard. Time for weekend. Low key, I'm just gonna go to just chatting. I'm really stretching out the raid segment, bro. Sumo wrestling. That's cool. I mean, can I even show this, bro? I want to give it to some damn talent. Some like really talented shit. Shep Gold. Wait, can I raid Shep Gold? Doesn't allow you to raid. Damn, that's so sad, bro. I love Shep. He's really good. Is there any like violin or piano? Oh, here we go.
Thinks that I am unforgettable too.
How about Loki? I keep switching up my shit, but how about violin? Sorry. No violin? Okay. Do we have flute? Oh, flute would be sick. Damn, no flute. I need to see some talented guitar players over here. This is cool. Not a bunch of
I guess
you.
that's good, but it's driving.
Alright, we are going to be rating NB the Musician. NB the Musician. Everybody, new video dropping tomorrow. A bunch of shit dropping tomorrow. TikTok, everything. Yeah. See y'all in the next one in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Goodbye.
Something to soothe it.